Folks, this is very important. It's something that we need to pay attention to as business owners and strategists, because I truly believe we are hitting an inflection point. Old ways of the past, static customer journeys are becoming obsolete. And as I mentioned in my previous videos, AI is making CRMs proactive, unified, and accessible for businesses of all sizes. And so this episode is meant to help decision makers figure out where they stand and how to pick the right partner for the job. Welcome to the episode 30th of the Critical Hit with your host, Batash Mujedi. We need to be able to see around each corner. And now the biggest shift in industries are happening in the customer relationship and experience. CRMs are no longer a place to store names, emails, and few notes. If you're thinking that way, you're leaving money on the table. The future of CRMs, in fact, is about intelligence, unification, and most importantly, accessibility for all businesses, every size, every budget. And so without further ado, we're going to get started first by answering a question of why a linear way of customer relationship is over. Back when I started marketing, customer journeys were simple, or at least that's how we thought so. You'd mapped out your funnel: awareness, interest, consideration, purchase, loyalty, the usual. And then you'd drop people into drip campaigns, same emails, same timelines, same messages. But now it's a different story. Why? Because customers today don't move in a straight line. They spin, they jump, bounce across different channels and devices, and they expect businesses to keep up. Back then we would assume or try to predict average path, but there is no average path in at least my opinion. Instead, we are looking at an n-dimensional world. One person might engage through emails, ignore your social media completely, but binge watch your product demos on YouTube at 2 a.m. in the morning. Another might never open your emails, but hit up your chatbot 5 times in a row before they decide to buy, or WhatsApp or whatever. And so rigid linear funnels don't work. And if you use it, you're sending irrelevant messages, wasting budget and resources, and worse, your customers are going to feel unseen. And emotionally, that's a real killer. People don't want to be slotted into some generic sequence. They don't want to, get the same message of "we miss you" 6 times in a row. They want to feel understood, right? More than 65% of customers say they've switched brands because of poor communication, personalization. That's why you can't afford to keep running the same customer engagement like it's 2010s. If your CRM still operates under the assumption that every customer fits into the same profile, same neat path, it's time to rethink the entire process, because the future is much more dynamic than that. And that's where AI comes in, because it gives you the ability to adapt to unique journeys in real time. Another question: how can AI become your trusted partner in this? A co-pilot. For years, CRM was just a digital filing cabinet. Names, emails, notes, pipeline stages. But what we are seeing now is the future of AI becoming about data intelligence. We're talking about systems that don't just store data, they also act on it. AI is transforming CRMs from passive to proactive. They're becoming your co-pilot. Let me give you some examples. For example, for predictive AI, it can analyze historical data to forecast churn risks. It scores leads for you, focuses on the right prospects. It predicts next best action through subtle behavioral signals. Imagine CRMs being able to nudge you in the right direction. Hey, this account opened 3 pricing pages in the last 24 hours and searched for competitor comparison tables. right? That's actionable intelligence. Agentic AI, we're moving beyond AI just making suggestions. Now they act upon it. Companies like Salesforce are building these agentic AIs for autonomous scheduling and follow-ups, handling routine customer queries without human intervention. And it's so big that Salesforce wants to deploy about 1 billion digital agents by the end of the year. And it matters why? Because speed equals instant answers, right? Efficiency equals your team focusing on high value work rather than repetitive tasks, right? AI identifying nuances that humans could not, find before. And let's be honest, manual workflow just could not keep up with n-dimensional personas. Your customer isn't just a B2B buyer. They're a parent, a podcast listener, a late night researcher, and someone who might be considering your competitor tomorrow. AI can connect those dots across channels, contexts. If your CRM isn't actively helping you decide what to do next, or even doing it for you, it's officially time to start looking for maybe something new. And that's why the next segment matters, because all this intelligence needs a unified home, central repository. Let's talk about how the single source of truth is reshaping customer management. One of the biggest problems holding businesses back is fragmentation, as I mentioned before. Back in the day, you'd be having your CRM in one corner, your ERP in another, your email marketing in another, and so on and so forth. And guess what happens in that scenario? None of them talk to each other. And so your services don't speak to your marketing. Your sales doesn't talk to your CRM. Your marketing team is keep on blasting promos despite the fact that there are actually complaints about the product. And the results are, again, customers repeating themselves over and over again in consistent experiences, loss of trust, negative reviews, and many more. The future of CRM fixes that, though. Modern CRMs are becoming unified ecosystems. Everything, sales, services, marketing, commerce, so on and so forth. Just plug and play into one platform. Because customers expect businesses to remember them across different channels, contexts, and so on and so forth. A single source of truth means no more fragmented data records, seamless handoffs between departments and entities, proactive support instead of reactive fire drills all the time. A customer calls support about billing issue. The agent instantly sees purchase history, services, service tickets, so on and so forth, recent marketing touches, promos that the customer got hit by, and even the website activity. Instead of asking, hey, can you tell me what your account number is? They say, hey, Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, I see you purchased this product last month. Tell me about your experience. Did you have any issues? Let's get this sorted out for you. That's emotionally powerful because customers feel like now they're being understood. They're not just a ticket number. They're not just a code, right? And in that case, companies with unified data grow revenue by 2.5 times faster than those that don't. The bottom line is that in the future, your CRM isn't just a database, it's your company's nervous system. And that sets up our next question. If CRMs are becoming this powerful, which platforms are right for which company? Because you don't have to spend like Microsoft to get a CRM that's smarter than your Excel sheet or your previous application. Especially in the case of CRMs, when people hear about future of CRM, they think, oh my God, I got to spend millions of dollars to implement these armies, consultants, but the truth is that the future of CRM is set to be scalable for enterprises, mid-sized companies, and even lean startups. You just have to know where to look for and what to look for and what to do with it. I give a little breakdown in this video and I have extended list in the blog. I will leave a link in the description to the blog. I tried my best to analyze each based on what I thought would be the best comparison of value you're getting to the dollar. But comment down and let me know if you think otherwise and if there are any solutions that you are using that needs to find its place on this list. For large enterprises, I think Salesforce and Dynamics 365 can do the trick. Salesforce comes with the flexibility. It has things like Deep Agentic AI, Einstein GPT, and Agentforce. Really good for business organizations that need endless customization and a global reach. The trade-off is high cost and a steep learning curve. On the other side, Microsoft Dynamics 365, brilliant for somebody that is already embedded in the Microsoft. It has Copilot integration, strong analytics with the fabric, and great for large enterprises wanting a single ecosystem. But the trade-off is, again, complexity without careful planning. For smaller mid-sized companies, we got Pegasystems, low-code platform with AI-driven decisioning, perfect for companies with the sort of complexity in the processes, but without the global budget. So it balances power and manageability. But the trade-off is steeper learning curve and a lighter CRM. But that's not to worry because HubSpot is also there, something that I personally really love. Great for mid-sized businesses, simpler UI, strong AI feature, chatbot, easy to deploy without massive IT support. But the trade-off there is less customization and scalability. But SMBs and smaller businesses, they got Zoho, one of the best values out there, AI-driven insights at a fraction of the cost. Solid for smaller teams looking for a single platform, but the trade-off there is there's no enterprise tools for ultra-complex scenarios. So bottom line is, though, you don't have to break the bank to join the future of the CRM. Even smaller businesses can tap into AI, predictive analytics, and unified customer views. The playing field is essentially leveling, and that's very exciting because nobody's going to win the awards for buying the most expensive, shiny CRM license. So my advice there for you folks and myself is start mapping out your most critical processes first. Then match vendors to the complexity you actually need, not what the salespeople are actually pitching to you, because you're not looking for pretty. Remember, the best CRM is the one that your team can actually use, because a most powerful shiny CRM gathering dust in the garage won't help anybody. It's garbage. And that's the perfect lead into wrapping this episode up. The worst thing you can do right now is nothing. We all know CRMs are changing. We just don't know where to start. And that's normal. Change is messy. But doing nothing, that's riskier because the gap between businesses that adopt modern CRM and those that don't is going to explode. So here's a quick checklist to help you future-proof your customer management. Audit your CRM. See what the capabilities are. What can your system actually do today? Where are the biggest bottlenecks, gaps that you can identify? Identify processes that can be good for AI automation, routine follow-ups, lead scoring, service triaging. If humans keep repeating the same task, chances are AI can do it too. Centralize your data layer, eliminate silos, make sure that they're all unified in the same place. Aim for a single source of truth. Pilot agentic AI. See how does that work for you. Measure ROI before scaling up. Learn how to walk before you start running. Build governance around AI ethics and privacy. Explainable AI matters. Customers will expect transparency and control over their data. Start designing policies now that match those concerns. Customers don't want you to be perfect. They just want you to remember who they are and respect their time and at least try. The businesses that win are the ones that are willing to adapt before they're forced into that position. So ask yourself this: is your CRM a record-keeping tool? Are you doing Excel sheets, but fancier? Is it the brain of your customer relationship? What sort of questions it can answer, right? Because the future of CRM isn't optional anymore. It's inevitable. And speaking of inevitable, next week we're coming back tackling something every business still struggles with to get right. We'll be back talking about how to send a better email marketing campaign in 2025. If you're wrestling with the figuring out if your CRM is actually good for you, if you have the right marketing stack, head over to medici.com. Let's fix that problem. If you'd like to be a guest on this podcast, drop me a note at batashmujeri.com/contact. I'd love to hear your story as well. This was the episode 30th of The Critical Hit. This is Batash, and I will see you next week.